So we are at Parashat Korach, and quite interesting. We'll start a little lighter, then we'll go into heavier stuff. So it says Vayikach Korach. So there are three parashiot which are in proximity, one next to the other. We have Korach. Before that, what we have? No, before. Shlach, right? And so then we have Korach. After that comes what? Chukat, and then we have Balak. So Korach, Chukat, Balak. The Kuf at the beginning of the word comes in Parashat Chukat, right? The Kuf is in the middle. Korach comes in the beginning, and Chukat is the Kuf comes in the middle, and Balak comes at the end. They say in the name of the Maharal that the Kuf, the letter Kuf, represents Kedusha, holiness. And so by Korach at the beginning, he was kasher, he was holy. And then it kalkel, then it became bad. After that, so that's how he shows us, right? It's like this. Chukat comes in the middle. Parashat Chukat deals with Taharat Hamet, when we purify the person by the ashes of the red hafir. So the beginning was Tameh, then it becomes Tahor. And Balak, right, which is at the end, come to represent Balak, that later on at the end, which is at the end, because Balak was Rasha, but we all know that after that Ruth Moaviyah came, and she became the great-grandmother of David HaMelech, and therefore the Kuf comes at the end, and it comes to show us that it was Kadosh. So the Pasuk says, Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kahat ben Levi. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin says, Korach she'asa korcha b'Yisrael. It's very interesting how the Gemara deals with that. The Gemara takes a whole pasuk and is darshan almost every single word in that pasuk. Usually the Gemara doesn't do it. Here it says, "Shasa korcha b'Yisrael." Ben Yitzhar, she'irtiach. Yitzhar is oil. She'irtiach, that it boils up. Et kol ha'olam kulo katzorayim. It was like the whole world was basically on tremendous heat just because of this guy. Ben Kahat, Ben Shik'a Shinem Molido. Kahat, right, was the son of, Kehat was his father. By the act of the son, really he made the father also look not so good. Ben Levi, Shenesa Leveya Begehenom. That they made a big procession for him in Gehenom. And so therefore we need to see why is the Gemara, why Chazal needed to take such an approach by explaining every word, every phrase, and so on and so forth. And we see at the beginning of the Gemara in Masechet Megillah that shekol hamuzkar b'mikra legnai, right? Anything that is mentioned in the Torah in terms of and so on and so forth, v'hizkeru avotav imo beyadu ashehu v'avotav reshaim. Anyone who was mentioned in the Torah as a wicked man, and the name of his father next to him, it says that it means that him and his father were wicked people. And according to that, we could understand why the Gemara says, the pasuk mentioned Korach and his forefathers, right? So therefore it doesn't make sense, because we know that Kehat was a tzaddik, Levi was a tzaddik, so why is that? So it's not to Chaz v'Shalom to darshan that Korach and his ancestors were Rashaim. On the contrary, we all know they were tzaddikim, but rather to show us that who was Korach and what were his actions. That he really came from a good source, and to by doing so emphasize how horrific were Korach's actions. And we'll see at the end, hopefully we'll get to it, we'll see at the end why this whole issue of Korach is really bad. So it says, V'yikach Korach ben Yitzhar, and so on and so forth. Rashi later on explains, it says, Ma'asa, what did Korach do? Amad v'kines ma'atayim v'chamishim rashe sanadriot. He corrected 250 of the head of the people. Ba'u v'amdu lifnei Moshe. And they came in front of Moshe. And they said, Talit shekulat chelet, a talit that is made completely out of the blue thread. Chayevet betzitzit or p'tura. That we have to put a tzitzit on it or patur. Why? Right? Because the analogy will be that, regarding our tzitzit, there's one string. So if I have the whole entire beged, that is 4 corners made out of tchelet, do I need to put a tzitzit? So they start to make fun of him. And it says, Efshar talit shel min acher, v'chut echad shel tchelet potra, right? It could be that, and basically the whole intent was to make fun of Moshe. And the question is, since the whole entire intention of Korach was to make fun of Moshe, how did Moshe know, right? How did he know that Moshe is going to be mechayev that talit in tzitzit? And the Midrash tells us that they claimed the ta'ana of Moshe, on Korach, on Moshe, was Ani beno shel Shemen. I'm the son of Kehat ben Yitzhar, shel Korach ben Yitzhar. And if Aharon and Moshe were anointed with oil, Kal v'chomer, that I am. It says ben Yitzhar. The whole thing that he was using was not really to find the halacha, because he was really interested in knowing the halacha. He was using a hypothetical halachic question to actually make fun of Moshe and to really question and doubt his authority and his brother's authority just because of this. So you were anointed with oil. No, you can just lower the thing. Yeah. You were anointed with the oil. I was born into that. So Kal v'chomer, that I have to be a leader just like you. And you'll see that many times people will do so. They will ask you questions. And many times, if you're smart, you will be able to see that the question is not really a halachic question. There's a certain underlining, to it. And the question is, what exactly are you what is exactly you're asking? And why are you asking what you're asking? Okay? So, especially in a case like this, and you see that people are making fun of him. And it says, ויקהלו על משה ואהרון ויאמרו אליהם רב לכם כי כל העדה כולם קדושים. The whole entire, they gather around Moshe and Aaron and says, what are you guys doing? Everybody is holy here. Everybody, כולם קדושים. ובתוכם השם, and among them Hashem. ומדוע תתנסו על קהל השם? And why are you going to, make yourself an authority over the people, the nation? And we said, before we explain this, we need to say, is the Gemara, we learned with Masachet Sotah, and Daf Hey, we learned, Shekol HaMidgaeh, anybody who is vain and arrogant, HaKadosh, Omer Alav HaKadosh Baruch Hu says upon him, Ein ani v'hu yicholim laduk bekfifa achat. You arrogant, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I'm out of here. As they say in the West, and you just came from the West, right? As they say, this town is too small for the two of us. Or this town is not big enough for the two of us. And that's what Kadosh Baruch Hu is saying. He said, listen, you're so arrogant, you're so vain. I'll see you. I'll ride to the sunset, but I'm not here with you. And he says, Bezman sheYisrael prutzim be'arayot, when Am Yisrael is immersed with arayot, and arayot are, what arayot? Yes. Right? Immoral sexual behavior. Whether it's looking, doing, and so on and so forth. Anytime Am Yisrael is like this, Shechina mistaleket mehem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu leaves them. He doesn't want to stay in that presence. And this is exactly the explanation of this pasuk, or the way to look at this pasuk. Ki kol ha'eda kulam kedushim. Wink, wink. Kulam gedurim ba'arayot. Everybody has a gader ba'arayot, right? Right? כל מקום שאתה מוצא גדר ערווה, אתה מוצא קדושה. We all צדיקים. וממילא בתוכם השם. So we are all very careful here on Arayot. So Hashem is among us, all together. So why are you going to put yourself over the Kahal Hashem? Right? Why are you going to... So look at his claim. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only staying among people who are behaving in a modest way, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes because of that, you, Moshe Aaron, because you made yourself important, you are causing for the Shekhinah to leave Am Yisrael. Look what you're doing. Thanks. It's a tremendous claim against Moshe Aaron. And this is a very, out of all of them, this is, I think, the most harsh explanation on Korach's claim. And Parashat Korach, if we look at it this way, historically wise, is probably the first effort in history of a revolution or hostile takeover. It's the first, I think, revolution that they had recorded in human history. And we have a very interesting case, because we're not talking about, how do you call this thing, Occupy Wall Street, a bunch of kids who had a hard time finishing college and they start to occupy Wall Street, or some Bolsheviks or some, I don't know, hoodlums, that come from here and there. Here we are talking about, for crying out loud, it's not even those serial complainers that we got used to all the time. They complain. These are the regular complainers we have. Not even them. Here we're talking about the elite, the top. It will be like the Congress or the Senate, actually, of those days. They're coming here and complaining. And we're not talking about just like, people are bored. We're talking about 250, of the selected people, the top of Am Yisrael. And no other than, of course, the cousin of Moshe Rabbeinu that comes and he complains, which at the time was the wealthiest, or one of the wealthiest people in the world, right? And since then we say, as we said earlier, right, Ashir ka Korach, wealthy as Korach, right? Today we would say, I don't know, wealthy as Bill Gates, but at the time, or Warren Buffett. Today is Ashir, at the time was Ashir ka Korach. And, he was a little smart, and I would even say somewhat of a prophet, right? And that's still Korach. Korach has a certain type of spiritual powers. And after whatever he did, of course, he's, I guess he's also the first, we have a lot of first time, it's the first recorded sinkhole ever recorded in history. Disappear into a sinkhole. And let's look exactly what happened there and how does it help me internally in terms of that. So as you saw earlier, before when we started, Korach comes in a cover-up of ideology. He's a righteous person, right? And if you look at it, it really seems in a way that he's got a point. Why does two brothers, if you look at it, it looks like these two brothers took over a whole entire nation. We were all free. We all came out of Mitzrayim, but now who died and made you king? What's going on here? It seems as a right claim. And he comes and he says, everybody here is holy, betocham Hashem. And why are you going to, right? Why are you going to make yourself kings and on top of Kahal Hashem? Of course, there's a little bit of a lie. Why? Because Korach didn't really care so much about Kahal Hashem. He didn't care about them. He cared about himself. You know, it happens all the time. Elect me, because I will save the people. I would save the small guy. I will save the working class, the lower class, the middle class. I'll do things for the middle class. And of course, they go into power, and everything they do is don't take care of the middle class. They only care about those big donors who donated to the party and actually put them in office. It's all a lie. He didn't really care about the Am Yisrael. He didn't care about anything. He cared about his power. He cared about his position. You know, it's an out in the open lie. However, any lie, if you kind of wrap it with a little bit of truth, it's a pill that you can deliver and sell it to the people, and sell it to the masses, and tell them, oh yeah, they say, you know, he cares about me. He cares about the people. He doesn't care about the people. Take any politician that ever made this kind of a statement, and you see exactly what happened to him. In this country or any other country, it's all the same. This is the Korach syndrome. And of course, you know, he wants to show that he really is innocent and he really cares and so on and so forth. And he said to Moshe, listen, you said that every Jew has a divine spark in him. So, me spark, two spark, we all the same spark. So why your spark is bigger than mine? Lama titnasu, who said that? Right? We are all equal. We are all equal. We are socialists, communism, Korachism. There's no such thing as we all equal. I mean, there is, but not by human standards. Even in communism, there were those who were worth little and those who were worth more. Ask anyone who lived in a communist country. There's no such thing as socialism. They're not the same. And it's true that everyone has his own job, his own tafkid. But not everyone. We all have a job. You have a job, I have a job, we have a job, and so on and so forth. But our jobs are different. And I can only do my job, and I cannot do your job. We all have jobs, but our jobs are different. And our job is designed and designated to us. And this is what I try to all the time, try to bring up to you, in terms of, you have to understand that. Thanks, Sam. You have to understand that. And you have to develop your sense of responsibility. You need to be responsible to your people. You need to be responsible for us. When you go in a claim, you say, you know what, I work hard. I need time to have some fun. I need to go out. I don't want to do this job today anymore. Or that's not for me. This part of my life is over. You're hurting us. You're hurting all of us. And you have to understand, because you're failing on your job. And what is your job? Your job is not to become a teacher or OT or PT, an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, a pilot, a garbage collector, a mayor, a president. That's not your job. Your job is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had designated to you, not what you had prescribed for yourself. Where is your effort towards another Jew? What is it that you are contributing to the overall Am Yisrael? Where is your communal responsibility? What are you doing for the community? Are you contributing for the community? Are you caring about the community? Or the only thing you do is come and complain, and you want somebody else to do the job so you can take the reward to you? or you could enjoy it. And it always comes to money. Listen, I invested so much. Okay, so you invested so much. So it's money that you say, call it a loss. Somebody bought you tickets to a concert. Or you decided to go to a concert. Leonard Bernal, he's dead already. Daniel Berwin, is he alive? Yeah, okay, he's still alive. All right. So he comes to play in New York in a recital of 250 people. And you had the chance to buy a ticket 50% off. Right? It was on sale. From $1,000, 50% off. And guess what? And all of a sudden you realize that when you are going to go to that recital, you are not going to learn. And you're going to affect other people who look up to you as an example. And they're going to say, well, if in the cedars of the Lebanon there's a fire, how about the moss that grows on a, and of course you are affecting us. So he said, but how about my $250? Kaparat avonot v'hu achu michaper avon. Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is my kapara. Let it go for this. Give it to your secretary. Give it to kapara sheyeh. I need to do my job. After all, who gave you this money? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you this money for you to do something positive with it, not to take this money and not do something negative and destroy with it. This is your responsibility. To complain, always no. To contribute, that's something else. We all have our own unique job. And Korach wanted to know, he wanted his job. What your job is really not of my concern. And your job is your job, and my job is my job, and I need to understand that I can do only my job, and I cannot do your job. Korach failed to understand that. Korach wanted to be the leader. He wanted the job of Moshe and Aaron together, and as soon as he didn't get that, right, he stitched himself, he fixed himself with a certain ideology that came, which would serve him. And that ideology was that everybody should be Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, after all, we all could be like Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rambam writes this. We could all be like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? So if we can all be, why won't we just be it? That ideology was not because he really cared. His ideology was, this is just a something that will put me into power. Like those people who claim, I want to do kiruv, I care about the people, I care about kiruv, I care about it, I care about it, I care about. And meanwhile, they bash everybody there's those who do kiruv too. They just view them as walking wallets. But no more than that. That's a Korach aspect. Or I want to do this. You don't really care about these people. Or I want to volunteer in Africa. Right? To care, to build houses. You don't care about this. You want somebody to write an article about you, your name in a newspaper or something like that. You want an award. You don't really care about the people. That's the fakeness. And it's so big in our day, day and age, in today's day and age. It is ridiculous. If you look around, you see exactly cases upon cases, whether it's Jews or non-Jews, secular or not secular. It is a sign of the time. We learned it out, and the first one to initiate such a thing was no other than Korach. Korach did that. That's exactly what it did. So really see the ideology. Before, as they say, before you talk the talk, make sure you walk the walk. Do it first, then talk. If Korach would have pitched a tent, called Dichvin, he would really do some community service. He would go work. He would, give some of his money to the poor people. I don't know what do you need all this money in the desert to begin with, but never mind. He would do something. And then he could come and say, listen, Moshe, I'm doing stuff, what about you? At least we could give him the benefit of the doubt. But his ideology was fake. And we turn this into the cult of personality when we idolize those so-called leaders, that they're not interested in leading, they're interested in controlling and ruling. And that's the difference. Our leaders are supposed to help us come to our destination, to a better place. Those people are not leaders, they're rulers. And if I don't get what I want, that's my ideology, and my ideology makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Very simple. I mean, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after all, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did give me a lot of money. That's what Korach says. He gave me a lot of money. I mean, he gave me also ability to speak, to become a demagogue. You know, I can speak. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me some prophecy. Why do you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me that? Because he really wanted me to be the leader, not them. They don't have as much money as me, right? This is a very dangerous and very interesting phenomena that happens all the time. And it's interesting because we need to understand that many times our eyes, what we see, is not exactly what really is. In other words, many times we are wrapped up with illusions and dreams that might seem to us like this, but they really are not. And it is the way we choose to interpret it. We see things and we decide to read the data or to read the evidence that we have not as they are, but how would they serve us? In other words, we create to ourselves not a reality. We create to ourselves a virtual reality in which we are completely lost to the point that we don't know anymore between good and bad. We mislead ourselves all the time. When we think that that's what it is. I mean, after all, it does make sense. Who if not for me? You know why they say that Korach was swallowed by the earth? Because he was supposed to mevatel atzmo to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, right, v'ma anachnu? Anachnu nothing. A tzaddik, a person like that, he's like ashes. He's like nothing. You didn't want to be mevatel yourself to the tzaddik, so you're going to be swallowed by the dirt. We do this all the time. We do it and repeat it all the time. We create this dreaming. Only a person that dreams, only a person who is smart and is able to see, what am I engaging with? This is a shtuyot b'mitzak v'niot. It's all nonsense. This is all nonsense of what I'm doing. This is not reality. This is a dream. Only a person like this can say, Az hayinu kecholmim. Then, at the time, back then, we were like dreamings. This is the reality. When I'm able to see things the right way, that's what we're going to say when Mashiach is going to come, right? Az hayinu kecholmim. We were like dreamers. Dreamers awake. David? Who wrote that, David? Bach. It's a beautiful thing. Dreamers awake. Dreamers awake. Wake up. And this is a remez when we start the slichot, and Rosh Chodesh Elul, Ben Adam Alecha Niredam. What are you sleeping? Everybody thinks, what are you sleeping? Because it's really 4 o'clock in the morning, so you're like, Ben Adam, you're tired. Lo, absolutely not. Ben Adam Alecha Niredam. Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping throughout your life? Kum petach v'tachanunim. Open your mind. Start seeing things the way they are. Rosh Hashanah is coming. Rosh Hashanah is coming. Yom Hadin is coming. Your own Yom Hadin is going to come also. Don't waste your life in dreaming. Don't waste your life in dreaming. No, he wants it. Don't waste your life in that. Wake up. Why are you sleeping? Don't fall into illusions and fantasies that don't lead you to anywhere. It's a big lesson to us. And it's exactly the reason why they wrote it at the beginning. They put it at the beginning of the Tachanunim to align ourselves with that. We waste our time when we waste our efforts and the kochot and the abilities HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us on dreams. It's like you have give me a name of a good car. Toyota. Who said Toyota here? Okay, I have a Raptor F-150, what's the name of this guy? Shelby. Super car. I don't know. 600 horsepower. 4x4, it can fly like I'm... And all I do is I sit in my parking lot. The car is in park, and I'm just pressing the accelerator, and I'm pretending that I'm driving. I'm driving, you're not driving away. Where are you going? You're not going anything. You have tremendous car. Take it somewhere. Go with it. And all you're sitting down is just pressing the accelerator and going absolutely nowhere. It's exactly what we do. And that's exactly what the problem of Korach. Korach put 1 and 1, and he said it has to be 2. But it's my 2. But there is 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, and we are all the same. He has his job, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted Moshe to become the leader. You want Aaron to become the thing. Korach, you had a job also. You don't know what your job was. But why you have to have his job? So this person has his job. I don't want his job. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him his job. Let me do what I need to do first. And each and every one of us knows exactly what's his job. And when we read those parashiot of the Torah, it really seems to us, in a way, unclear and ununderstood. Because it's very easy to read things on the outside. Very easy to see things on the outside. And to give criticism on others that they don't act appropriately. But how about us? Is the camel able to see his own hump? Do we learn from our mistakes? Are we interested in learning from our mistakes? And I'll tell you this is something that I tell you all the time. If you did something and you made a mistake, let's say, it's only a mistake if you haven't learned from it. Because if you made a mistake and you learned from it and you corrected it, it's not a mistake, it's a learning experience. So if you made a bad decision, many times HaKadosh Baruch Hu has great chesed and mercy on you. He will give you another chance. He will do something. But you would say, no, I want to continue. So if not today, tomorrow, I'm going to continue in my way. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I gave you a chance. And he said, no. And then it's a mistake. Then it's a mistake that you punished. Why? For the first time that you made that, and for the second time that you refused to learn from it. This is when the problem comes. This is the whole essence of tshuva as well. We make a mistake. We say, oh my goodness, what have I done? I regret it. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you the opportunity again. He gives you, and then you said, oh, okay, what the heck? I made tshuva. Why not? It's not tshuva. Then you're going to get punished twice, for the second time and for the first time. But if you did this, he says, I can't do this because I love you so much. So even the first time would not count. And there's as we always talk about arayot, immoral behavior. I'm going to tell you something that I'm sure you're not going to like. One of the things we fail all the time is Bitul Torah. All the time. All the time. And you get your chances, and you'll fail. And you get your chances, and you fail. And then you wonder why your son married someone, or your daughter went up with another one out of faith. So the question is, do we learn? And you'll see that many times when people, we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're not prone from not making mistakes. However, when, for example, people get us angry, we're not able to control our anger, right? When things don't work the way we wanted, or somebody told us something that we didn't want to hear. When your kids are misbehaving and your mother-in-law is coming for a visit and and so on and so forth, right? And or somebody cuts you off in the road in a crazy way, or your boss is yelling and the guy who wants to fix the bathroom actually ruined the other bathroom, and all, you know what I'm saying, right? Your money goes away, you can't hold the money, things don't go the way you planned it, right? And therefore everything, in other words, everything that we want goes the other way. We also are unable to keep our cool, to put things in the right perspective. And when things don't work right, we can kick the wall, we could bash our heads on a telephone pole, out of anger. We do those crazy things. We throw things. That's why the Rambam writes, anybody who throws something in his anger, kilu oved avodah zarah, at that moment you are acting like something possesses you. Not Hakadosh Baruch Hu is not in front of your eyes. Some other demon is in front of you, but you are acting very crazy, like you were doing idol worshiping. It doesn't make sense. This is not the way of a Jew. And you can cause tremendous damage, and nothing good will come. And it's known that a lot of your hardship, when they come in a bundle. They come together, right? Why? Because when we think negative, right, we're creating a negative reality. We create a reality of anger. So therefore, everything and everyone around us will be angry, unhappy. How many times have I told you, stay away from negative people. Stay away from people who don't want to do anything with their lives. Stay away from empty people who have nothing, no depth. No depth. Try to have a serious conversation with a person. See how long they're able to maintain that serious conversation. Then reevaluate your relationship with that human being. Stay away from shallow people. And many times we have a lot of arguments. We all have arguments, and we all have all these things, and which many times we use it. If somebody would say something to you, you would use it as a open opportunity to create an overflowing brook or spring or well of complaints or create animosity. You held this anger inside of you. The person told you something. Excuse me, why your button is open, and you're going to start hollering him or being negative. We all have it. In other words, we never learn from that. And I'll tell you why it's so bad. Because Korach was the one who brought a tremendous machloket into Am Yisrael. He is the first one who created out in the open a machloket in Am Yisrael. And listen, we all have our fights, we all have our disagreements with people, and sometimes with ourselves. And we all know that the moment of truth is very, very difficult to control this, to understand that everything is from above and to shut up without complaining. What is it going to do to you, this complaining? Only when we can see those parashiot of the Torah as it is brought now, we could understand how difficult it is to control yourself. We know that it's very difficult to act in the moment of truth. But if you prepare yourself, and you try to be awake and to have your situational awareness up, only then you can identify the moment where it's almost like an anxiety that comes. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an analogy from martial arts, right? For example, stop moving the table over there. ADD, over there, sit back. You, Moshe. I'll give you an example. I'll tell you, if a guy comes with a punch, you block him like this, and you grab him like that, and you throw him like this. It's all good and it's all okay. You'll be able to perform like this. You come to a fight, you forget everything. Because under a moment of stress and pressure, you forget everything. Unless it is recorded to you, you did it so many times, and you practice it so many times under pressure, that if a person goes like this, you know exactly what to do. It's a second nature to you. Very few people can do it. So we all know that this is bad. But at the moment of truth, we all fail. We always fail. You see all these guys who do these beautiful movements in martial arts. They do the kata, they do this. But they come to a fight, they blank out. They don't know anything. It just does. It looks like two guys are just punching each other like two people in the street who are completely not trained. Why? Because they never practiced this in real time, so-called. So you need to prepare yourself. Or an anxiety that comes. Anxiety doesn't come to you all of a sudden. Oh, I have an anxiety, you are immobile. It will start creeping in you. And you'll have to become aware of your body. You need to maybe learn some biofeedback. How the anxiety comes up. How the waves of anger come up. And at that moment, you need to quiet it down. Because we like it. See, we see an opportunity. I'm bringing the anger up. I'm bringing it up until to the point that I can say something to my parents, or to my Rebbe, or to my best friend, or to my wife, or to my husband, something that would destroy their relationship on the spot forever. And then go ask say you're sorry. Let's see that happen. I told you, if you take an arrow and you shoot it in the wood, and it goes into the tree or into a post, and now you created damage. Now there is an arrow inside that post. Well, so it's no big deal. You can go and pull it out. But the hole is going to stay there forever. So when you shoot an arrow into somebody's heart, you might say, I'm sorry, pull it out. But the pain, the cavity, the hole is going to stay there forever. So before that happens, you stop it. It's not how well you can fight. It's not how well you can win arguments. It's how well you can control your spirit. Control your spirit, and I'll tell you how you do this. Very simple. Da mi'ayin bata, know where you're coming from, and where are you going, and who you're going to give your din v'cheshbon, who you're going to give an account for all your actions. So I'll be a little Breslev at the end. I'll tell you something from Rav Nachman. Because the whole entire world is full of machloket, of arguments. Whether it's nations, among nations fight, whether it's inside your country, you have frictions, Democrats, Republicans, this, that. Inside your own city there will be frictions. Inside your own neighborhood there will be fights and frictions. In your shul there will be fights and frictions. At your home, with the people you like the most, your wife, your children. You'll have frictions and wars and battles inside yourself. And nobody pays attention to the purpose, to the tachlit, to the essence of things. That every day a person dies. Every day we experience a certain aspect of death. So every day that you wake up is like Tchiyat HaMitim for you. Every day, why? Because the day that passed is never going to come back. It's over. It's finished. What happened yesterday happened yesterday. And every day you come closer and closer to the grave. Every day you're getting closer to the grave. And you have time to spend it on nonsense, on acts of no purpose. You have time, you have all the extra time to spend it on fighting and destruction. Therefore, only a person who has a little bit of brains or common sense needs to pay attention to that and continue upon himself what is so-called Erech HaPaim. Erech HaPaim is relax, be patient. Don't be so short. Don't be so hothead. If you do so, you're not going to waste your days on a big machloket, on a small machloket. Just control your anger. Strengthen your spirit. And then, and only then, when you're going to control yourself, only then you're going to have peace with everybody and harmony with yourself. Shabbat Shalom.